Okay, well, it looks like Fierce will be defending to start things off on Dust 2. Toten G will be the man with the defuse kit and smoke grenade for Fierce. London will have Astro and a P250. No raid boss though, he's bought it for himself. Rest of the team on Glocks. EC1S keeps making me think of a mouse, but I don't think I'll mispronounce that. Anyway, so we've got Hype with a really nice range, but if they play the numbers game, London, he could take 1 or 2 in the face. Seems that Astro will be fishing for an opening. Will he pull players away? Well, immediately with that engagement, you've got those numbers towards the B bomb site. No answer from the CTs just yet. Oh, hold on. Solcus has been taken out.
Being a bit awkward there at the back of Plat, but still alive somehow, and he's causing all kinds of delay. And, well, that's a very decisive couple kills coming in. Well, 4 kills coming in, indeed. CT side of Fierce off to a good start economically, at least. And this was pretty nice, James. You got the Swede.
That was
the
nice.
lone Swede.
Yeah.
Just walking in, taking names.
That third kill was juicy. So there will be no Force Buy from London. Dust 2, not one of the best maps to Force Buy on. So many long-range engagements that the side with the weapons can take. 2 rifles for Fierce. We note that Swaggy is going USP only, so I'd expect him to pull out an AWP in the next run. I think this will become more common as well, although it is, I think, map dependent. It can be a gamble, maybe less of one on Dust 2. And again, he's expecting these players to have no Kevlar, so easy one taps for him, and this should be cleaned up pretty swiftly. Not a single player lost. Bonus money for Swaggy. And that's a very quick anti-eco round.
Just cutting it a bit close, though. Down to 3 HP. Going for all the kills, but as we can see, the full buy coming in with the AWP early. That's really important on Dust 2, of course. It can be very fragile for the CTs if they aren't able to get the full utility and AWPs running in early. And Totang with that MP9 still, looking to get a bit aggressive. I like that we're seeing the Krieg. We should see more Kriegs, James.
I don't think we saw any Kriegs or Orgs in the previous match. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, so I was wondering if they would make an appearance. All right, so Fierce have got off on the right foot. They've won the pistol rounds. They've got the early AWP. Swaggy's not shy at all, is he? Deep in that short position. Just got to make sure he's positioned well, though, so he's not exposed to the Xbox spot. The shadow spotted, but I'm guessing all the dirt kicked up by the HE grenade obscured the vision. It is really difficult to see behind that sometimes, as well as the smoke from Molotovs. So that's a big weapon lost very early. A free sniper rifle for London.
And you can see after getting that kill, they have made the call to go back to B. And looks like it will be a very good call because it's been evacuated. Hype is the closest man. He's going to be checking it from the window, dropping into the bomb site here, but it could be quite difficult to hold this one. In go all the T's, not exactly ready for this. Instant headshot. And, well, that's the B bomb site gone. And Fierce will likely be thinking about saving already. A 2 versus 5 retake. Not going to be too easy.
Well, it seems that London will abuse the AK-47s. I think you did say, Yumi, that Fierce just got outshot in their previous matchup.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. It's just, I think it ultimately comes down to whether they give Swaggy enough space. He can often kind of contest along that long position. He does like going for aggressive picks like we saw on short. And granted, he doesn't come up with anything in this round, but I think it ultimately comes down to the ult play of both these teams, because I think it's either Link or Astra that are sort of the primary AWPers for London, and both of them, I think, are very proficient on the weapon as well. So
I wonder if the way Swaggy got taken out will deter him to be taken out so early in that short position. I mean, he did go for a flick shot. I'm not sure if he got any of it. See, there's the smoke. I can't even see anything there. I don't know. I don't know what either of those guys saw, but maybe it's just a read on the behavior of his opponent. Familiarity can go a long way. And now the angle will be held down mid by Astro, allowing London to get close. Can provide the support flashbangs should they want to venture through the doors. And in fact, they'll do that very, very quickly indeed. And they could be in for an instant B-split. Intercami's been taken out towards A. Toten G's not far behind him to the grave. And now Hype has a lot of trouble. He's basically 1 versus 4, soon to be 5. He'll get 1, but that's the round. Just like that, it's over.
Yeah, that was really smart from London. I really like it when you see teams just go for the very fast timing down, either towards CAD or down towards the double doors, just to see if you can catch the CTs. Because often times at the beginning of a round, the CTs are afraid of rush timings on both A and B. So you can, especially if the CTs don't have an AWP, find a situation where they're going to be stuck on, with 2 players on the B-bomb side as you're running through those double doors, or likewise as you're charging up cat, they might still have 3 on long, especially if you're still if you have teammates throwing nades in there, which can help to keep those 3 players on long whilst you rush up catwalk. So cool to see that they're sort of abusing those early rush timings and where they expect the CTs to be set up. So really not looking like a good start after all for Fierce. I thought they would be fine, but
Fierce is going to be mad broke now. No money for Greg's. Swaggy's got to try and do a lot with this AK. Doesn't have a spectacular spawn in any direction. Do they go for a walk through to B tunnels? Maybe a boost onto Cat. We will soon find out. Indeed, it is going to be the boost onto the catwalk position. Fazan up first, Swaggy up second. And maybe he can use one of his players with a pistol as a bait. But again, in a round such as this, you want your players without any weaponry armor utility. They need to be alive to pick up weapons and such. And now they know where the AK is. 1 weapon was saved. They need to identify if it has been forced around. Not likely necessarily on Dust 2, but it's still something to clarify. Can't take anything for granted. So the AK is towards A. What will London do with this information?
yeah, it's cool to see that Fierce are playing a style where they are just forcing London to make the move. I mean, it's easy if you give up a kill, you try to play aggressively as the CTs. That kill can then lead to an easy understanding of where the opening might be for the Ts, but London have no information exactly. They have, of course, long control and some ability to deduce where the CTs might be, but they don't know 100% know. But it's always a really nice smoke to throw from a long position. You've also got CT covered as well, so this is a really nice approach. And you'll note that they didn't actually smoke the crossover, but they smoked the deep CT smoke instead, and that's so that if there are pistoling players, they can't just sit in the smoke and try to run through the smoke's close range. It's much more problematic. This is the superior smoke in a round like this.
Yeah, they don't get close for free, so those CZs, those 5.7s, aren't able to be abused as they otherwise might. But I do like the the grenade usage was very good there. No people poking and prodding from that short position, especially elevated on the box because of the smoke on the high ground. 1 kill for Fierce. Doesn't look like they'll be picking up a weapon in this round either. So it's pretty much all you could ask for London. And they are about to take the lead. The money's still going to suck for Fierce. No AWP anytime soon. So we'll see what they choose to do. All eliminated. So I guess EC1S is Eccles as his last name.
Yeah.
Marvelous. Right then, 3-2 for London. No sniper rifles for Fierce. Does this mean more aggression? Another boost attempt? Wouldn't appear so. Looks like it will be focusing on the long take. Better have your flashbangs on point. Grenades thrown from the car position, but London are out very quickly indeed.
Yes, this is always very scary when you're the CTs, especially if you don't have many nades. You can see them boosting with the X-ray up through elevator, getting Swaggy onto the bomb site. And when you take long like this, you know that the CTs have to, if they give it up like this, that they have to be on short. It's pretty much the only place they can really be, and still try to offer a defense on A. And some CT sides might even try to make a play into mids at the same time to try to just take something back on the map, get more information, maybe force a frag, because if you just wait for the Ts to attack from long with the correct nades, they can be very dangerous. That said, we'll have to see how well London can execute the walk-in. Only 1 man in mid watching rotation, and they seem very comfortable with the smokes from long as well. So London are looking very good for this.
The faster smokes. Thought they might go for one in CT spawn. Swaggy peeking with his teammate, going for the spray transfer. I think he rings the bell, but doesn't get a kill onto Selkas. So there is time for London to stabilize, kind of get confident with their current hold on the bomb site. Sulcus, we're looking for a smoke push. Can't stop it though from Fazan. Will there be another boost attempts? Maybe, maybe not. Fazan taken out. 2 players remaining for Fierce. 2 versus 2 now. We've got Astro moving up from that long position, trying to help his teammate, but he's got the AWP, so this may end up being a mistake. He's left completely exposed and he gets taken down for free. The bomb was planted for him on that plat position. But he chose to take matters into his own hands. Didn't work out, and there's a 3rd round for Fierce.
All right, so getting back on the boards, having 2 players surviving, picking up the AWP. However, the bomb did go down as well, which will be some additional money for London, as well as all the money they had saved. So definitely not going to be going down without a fight in this following rounds. As we can see, there's the full buy coming out from them. And Astro looking to have the best spawn here to go for a quick timing onto the long. Doesn't find anything though. The CT smoke will force him back. So winning long with very limited utility for Fierce. So that's a big win. And this looks like it might be a slow round, as we have a 2-1-2 setup from the CTs.
I'm curious if Fierce will continue to take long like that in rounds where they have maximum utility, because if so, I feel like the timing of those grenades is so slow that London, if they read that that is how they go for long take, they could pretty much take long every time. Swaggy looking for the alternate angle. Astro carrying the bomb as well, jumping over. That seems like it was a mistake. Swaggy good for the flicks. Doesn't know how many players are in long, however. Sorry, in mid. Doesn't have close rifle support. Stanley looking for something in the meantime. Now the mid beat smoke is dropped by London. Now will there be a drop off of the cat position? Another one. Unanswered frag for Swaggy.
I think he's in CT. Yeah.
Okay. Now he's waiting for the smoke to go. Oh, that's awkward. Gets 1 frag, but he's instantly traded. And now we've got London going through the choke point. There is a flashbang. Totem's completely blind. Vibe's got a 2-man spray down. 3 players surviving for Fierce. Can they get to the AWP? Probably can, just in time. And that ends up being a good round for them. I feel like Swaggy probably should have gone down earlier. With the 2 players in mid, they kind of gave him 1v1 opportunities. So he got more damage out than London might have liked. And Fierce are in the lead once again.
It felt like almost a very good round. If, for example, they could have activated the cat flying a bit sooner. Obviously, as you say, should Swaggy not get the opportunity for that flick through the door, and so on and so forth. But we'll have to see if they can recover here. They are going to actually spend some cash, looking to keep the pressure on. You see 2 AK-47s. And Fizz, this is the round that they can use to stabilize their economy. This is a really important one for them. They absolutely need to try not to lose anybody. Obviously, or back out for London as well. Still looking for those fast timings, but that is a fantastic shot from Swaggy. And that'll give an early advantage here to the CTs. But Stanley's is moving quickly, and he's denied just as quickly, it would seem. So his rush timing's been foiled. And Fierce look to be controlling things quite well so far.
Are these kind of performances consistent from Swaggy? Because mid's looking pretty dangerous right now.
Yeah, he's like so important to Fierce and like winning rounds really, and just to again a map where maybe individuals can kind of pop off a little bit. So the fact that he's constantly on the AWP is really important for Fierce.
This is looking really dangerous for Fierce, and again they're just getting out-aimed with these AKs being abused. Great positioning in the long position with Stanley's push on short. This leaves Intercami alone. You can shoot through the windows of the car, the bullets will go through, but that won't be enough for him, unfortunately. 4-4, and that is a, well, they had 2 rounds in a row, Fierce, but their money has been annihilated by the likes of London, and maybe they can take control of the half here. 2 AWPs, will they both be looking through mid doors? That would be very painful indeed, although Intercami has a smoke. But it seems they'll just go for the raw run, 2 players crossing. London will look to take some players out towards long. I think one may have just been spotted there. Fazan's moving close with his P250. He'll need 2 shots, doesn't get 1 off, I don't think. Nobody touched just yet for London. It's a good start to this anti-eco round. Intercami's invested in Kevlar. Everybody else is more or less naked. And only 2 players remain. Now, if they could get a hold of an AWP, damage could be done. But how likely is that? Eccles takes out the second last player into Cami, and that is the anti-eco complete. Not a point of damage. That's pretty good. For London, at least. And again, Fierce on the eco. So
Perhaps
London can start to pull away now.
Perhaps the worst map for ecos for the CT side.
Yeah.
Very sad times. Feels desperate. Feels hopeless. And
Uh-oh.
well,
Ooh.
the moonwalk. Well, at least they can get up on the cat boost.
There's probably a squirrel eating an internet cable somewhere down.
Yeah, maybe.
Squirrels are one of the most common causes of power outages
Oh, really?
and internet outages because they just climb. You can't really
Stop them.
secure buildings from squirrels, it seems.
Right.
And they just keep eating things and dying from electrocuting themselves. That's true. I'm not making that up.
That sounds like a interesting business venture.
Stranger than fiction. Yeah, finding a way to secure buildings from
Squirrel-proof.
squirrels.
Yeah.
Well, somehow this has turned into a 2 versus 2. And with Fierce able to buy in the next round, why the hell not go for it? That HE would be very useful behind the Xbox position. That's where it will be deployed. Now, they've got to find headshots. They both have AKs, so this is a dangerous round. Trying to bait a reaction. Doesn't see anybody behind the car. Tosin G now with no defuse kit, 1 versus 2. If they don't offer him up a kill, it would be worth holding on to the AK-47. If you're quicker on a trigger finger, it will be a lot better than an M4. And there we go. London will, after all, move to round number 6. Ooh, AWP, very nice. Which means that somebody gets to buy some grenades. If Tosin G uses AWP, I hope he has one called Toten Pole.
So we got
Otherwise,
the
he's doing it wrong.
6-4 scoreline. London do pick up the round, but as you said, they lost a surprising amount of players, and the Orb's back out. So Stanley's, he's got the Orb, he's got the fastest timing, so he's going to take the pick towards long. See if he can make it happen. On their way for the smoke to go down. The CTs look like they want to fight this, or do they? In 2 minds, perhaps, just leaving 1 player there. Okay, in comes the second, but the support's already been dropped, as will the pit player. So that's worked out really well for London. A 5 versus 3 with a minute and a half left is the dream situation for any T side. And you can see the reaction here.
Well, there's a blind spot for the T's of London's. Crouch peek from Eccles will be enough to take out Hype. Release bot into Cami. He's died, but he's got the information of where one of the last 2 players is. So that will fill London with confidence. They've got the numbers to trade. They've got the smokes down. How fast is Swaggy? That shot was asking a lot. And maybe if he gets that shot, they're encouraged to try something, to go for it. But without it, they have to save. And Dust 2 isn't the easiest map on which to save. Maybe Intercami is looking to hide in plain sight. So again, if you're in T-spawn, you won't be able to see people who are on cats. So you've got to be careful with that. Okay, so I don't know what Intercami's plan was just there. Because Swaggy is saving, and it seems that he wanted to invite some jewels. Now, in a 2 versus 4 situation, when you're not trying to win a round, I feel like there's more value in a 5 versus 5 situation, even if your teammates have pistols and you have your normal map control again. But they, in fact, lose everything. And in some part, you could say maybe he's trying to keep them on the site for longer by being surprisingly aggressive when he should be saving, which may help his teammates save, but he's lost his weapon as well. So they take nothing into this round when, I don't know, maybe with a little less aggression, they could have taken 1, maybe 2 weapons into this round instead. With the Deagle and a CZ port, I mean, who knows where that takes you?
So you guys said that London have, or rather, sorry, Fierce have not been around for too long as a lineup, but how long has London been around as a lineup?
Well, because they have got like some of the sort of legacy players from the old Wind and Rain roster, and they've all they're all good friends with one another as well. UK scene very much in love with one another. They're able to kind of form a roster that is very, very competitive, got a lot of very good players, but they've made this round extremely competitive. It seems like.
Yeah, imagine if they had some weapons from the previous round. Now, they have 2 Molotovs, so there's a very dangerous angle below the window around the other side, which is that's the exact Molotov for, although he's messed it up because they're supposed to land on that box with the blue tarp on, but he's stopped himself from being able to get into the window, so back to the practice room for him. But Swaggy will deliver a Molotov towards the car position. There's the first headshot. They've got to find... Oh, he's got a kid as well, Swaggy, so there's so much that can be done here, but Eccles is hiding behind the corner. Misses his shot. Where's the kit? Got the kit, got the defuse, I think. And that is a round stolen away by Fierce. Just about.
Dang.
Crikey, that came from nowhere.
Yeah, the Deagle doing a lot of damage. Very, very, very annoying. There's a 2v4. That's ridiculous. Just a couple pistols. And that's, well, seemingly enough. That's very impressive there from Fierce. Showing London they can never get comfortable. Because that's a round which you should just always win. It's 4v2, you're against pistols, you get a bomb plant on B. Of all bomb sites. So that's got to feel pretty bad for London. Double ops coming out as a result from Fierce as well. So, and going aggressive, hype, and he's going to find the bomb. That is some beautiful work there. And they don't have to really do anything more. You definitely don't have to do anything more, although he really wants to entertain more aggression.
Wants to take the fight to London. Pickles slowly backing away. He has to be very, very careful as he is carrying the bomb. Flashbangs up high. Teammate will be blind, but they make it out. 2 of the London players towards long. And now they look to secure the short position. Astro knows not what lies behind that smoke grenade. He's on his own as well, which makes it difficult. They could even be... I think there's a fair chance with long loss that there could be 2 people in that short area. As you can see, Fazan is just keeping an eye on things with the Molotov, but it's really hard for Astro to peek, not knowing what's around the corner. It seems Stanley looking towards car maybe. Okay, well, there's a big flashbang. He runs out wide, but then they start hugging the wall once again. Swaggy will be very exposed if he goes for a peek, but that smoke might actually help him in the short term. And there is a short term, but in the long term, they will pass the angle. And now he's gone. 3 versus 3, 35 seconds on the clock. Long and short in possession of London. Intercami's making it awkward. Big frag coming in. Astro's got to be careful because he's carrying the bomb. He's still alive somehow. That is unbelievable. Bomb planted, and there is the round. 8-5 in favor of London. Fierce cannot get consecutive rounds, it seems. They got some earlier, but that was a long time ago now.
Yeah, some struggles there on the retake. Looks very desperate. That's the M4 spray up on towards Catwalk was a bit arduous, and I think that really made things a lot more difficult than it had to be. But as you say, struggling to win consecutive rounds means that you're playing with pistols a lot, and on the CT side it does too. It is very, very difficult indeed. And Eccles, wow, okay, that's an AWP. At least there's players there to try to save that up, not allow it to fall into CT hands. They may want to try to rescue that AK if they can, which they should be able to, but you can see that there's a lot of pressure here from Fierce. They will hold on to the AK, and with that smoke down, there's no challenge for London, and they will go back towards mid. And they've made their way up to Catwalk. They've got the A bomb site, but there's CTs all over the place.
There's one on the actual A site as well. Stanley's made too many sound cues, and Intercami is going to punish him for those. Astro getting close. Oh dear, the headshots from Toten G. Leaving Link in a 1 versus 3. He has a minute on the clock. They will surely have heard him by now, though. He has a Molotov, can use it to clear the site. Speaking of Molotovs, there's one. Definitely keep the gun out. Up close around the corner is Fazan. Easy for Fazan. Well, that's fallen to pieces. And again, I feel like London have opened some doors for Fierce in a number of rounds. But that's a big headshot from Intercami. And Eccles just missed too many shots in long, really. I think with the gun down by the doors, they could have... That's so disgusting. Like, that's nasty. With the gun down towards the long doors, they could have dropped a HE to bounce the gun back. That said, it's not really the most ideal spot to do that. Swaggy's going nuclear in mid. Collateral. And he leaves Stanley on 23 health. He won't last very much longer. It's looking good for him. And the T side is to come. 4 versus 2 in favor of Fierce now.
Oh my god, that is one way to get back into it, isn't it? Okay, what do you do here? This is it's Dust 2, so it's one of the better maps for a 2v4 situation like this. As you have all these open spaces to move through, and finding 1v1s that aren't too disadvantageous is pretty possible. They have plenty of time as well. And they are deciding to go towards the long area. They have one smoke. You can see that Soulcast has a full nade set. It's going to be very difficult to know exactly how and when to use these nades, as soon as they throw anything or make any degree of noise, the element of surprise is gone. And in a 2v4, you need that element of surprise.
They've got one smoke. If they throw the smoke into CT spawn, it takes so long to execute, and with the time on the clock, kind of exposes the entire plan. So just the one smoke. 2 versus 4. The rotation continues. 3 of the CTs here now. And now it's Eccles versus 2. Trying to punish the spray. Got to be conservative with his bullets, however. He's got time to reload. 20 seconds. He's really got to cross before the smoke disappears. He has no idea what's in CT spawn. Creeping through. Doesn't expect the rotation coming in so late. And that will be 8 rounds for London and 7 for Fierce at halftime.
Did this go somewhat as expected for you, gents?
I think so. I mean, London kind of falling. That's so nasty, but London kind of falling a little bit like short in some of the anti-eco, anti-force buy kind of rounds, which again comes down to that strategical depth maybe being a bit lacking. They seem to panic quite a bit, and because they have a lot of strong individuals, those individuals try really hard to like compensate and then end up just kind of making it worse, right? So I think Fierce were, like you said, James, given a few too many opportunities to actually even things up.
Well, we'll have a cat rush here from Fierce, and they've managed to make their way up towards the cat stairs without losing a single player so far, which is always quite nice. And London will be investigating. You see Stanley says all the information for his team. They know that it's going to be at this point. The rotation on the map is starting to come in, as we'll see the CTs encircling the Ts, but they have to shoot them in the face as well. And Soulcast will start it off quite nicely.
Fazan, oh wow, they're just getting wrecked by London. Fazan was dropped to P250 by Swaggy. And now into Cami, and is alone wondering what's happened to all his teammates. He doesn't have the bomb. It's towards A. I think he's probably been heard by Eccles at this point. Who knows he's in B halls. Stanley looking towards T-spawn. They're not sure if he's on B or if he's made his way to T-spawn, but they'll continue to get into more advantageous angles. Flank continues from Eccles into Cami now in CT spawn. Nobody showing anything. Stanley rotating from long. There is the flank. He's found himself a P250, so he's got double the range for the headshot now. Versus the Glock, just under. Don't know if he realised he's being shot in the back, not the front. There's more shots, and Stanley will finish him off. 9-7 in favour of London. So both teams win their pistol on a CT side. And London going for all rifles. Again, they've got so much range to abuse. They don't want to mess around with the SMGs. They will be relatively useless in the next round when they expect the AKs to come out. And it seems Fierce will have a bit of chat before they continue.
So I think outside of the kind of like force buy rounds that Fierce were able to win on their CT side, the rifle play hasn't really been too impactful from a lot of their players. So I'm a little bit kind of worried or apprehensive about their T side. I don't know whether they're going to be able to transfer that over. If Swaggy is still able to kind of hit his shots with the AWP, I think that will still help. But that's kind of one of their win conditions. You've got OMEN or Intakami, as he's called himself in this game, Hype and Swaggy that are really like the guns coming out blazing for a lot of their wins.
To their advantage, Fierce, they will be able to wield the AKs now that they're on the T side, but now Swaggy is going to be peeking into people as opposed to holding the initial angles himself. So it's a different challenge, and one that's probably going to be more difficult. Though I feel like there could have been more organized challenges with flashbangs through the mid position in the first half. So I don't feel like he necessarily got his toughest test, but he did hit the shots when he saw people, and it's not. You can't take that for granted, really, just being consistent with that. He sees, he shoots, he kills or leaves people with red health. So he was consistent in that respect. Just waiting for one player to reconnect to the server, and there it is, bish bash bosh. So I do not expect too much to be purchased here. We see a a P250 here and there. Maybe a flashbang for an attempt to burst somewhere would be good.
It's a bit awkward actually. Hyper's less than $1,900, so I don't think you'll be able to buy an AK.
He'll have 4150.
Oh, okay. I can't do maths. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes the numbers fail me.
Never do maths.
Yeah. So I guess it's a bit too early for that, isn't it?
It is too early for maths for sure.
It's definitely too early for that. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. In the previous best of 3, for me, it was fun watching the dynamics on the T side to see sort of the detail and where the detail goes exactly. For example, I was pretty impressed with just like general spacing that I saw, just modulating the pace, because those are two of the most important things. Because you can have, instead of having like a huge amount of different types of strategies to go through in a massive playbook to expect your team to try to execute to perfection, having a few different defaults and ways to branch out of those that are simple, and just having the basics, the fundamentals around that be solid, such as the spacings, which is important for trade timings and so on. That tells me a lot about sort of how a team, how consistent a team might be on those T sides. So we do have an additional delay. We're used to.
Yeah, one player is restarting their internet.
Yeah.
So that may take a minute or two. And I remember I had for the longest time I had a 0.7 upload, so I couldn't stream. I could barely play Counter-Strike. It was horrible. It was a really bad situation.
Well,
we
do
got
you see
the
what
proper-
happened when you could play Counter-Strike, James? You just ruined your arm. So
Actually, ironically,
Maybe-
I ruined my arm because I had such a low send, and I played some Overwatch, and Overwatch ruined my arm. Because obviously with CS you can rest for a while or whatever, just holds, especially if you're sniping. But with Overwatch, because it's like respawns and stuff, constantly tends to just completely ruin my arm. So to play that game, I needed a much higher send, but I only really play it when I'm too tired to play Counter-Strike. Although I haven't played it for a very long time. Just play Counter-Strike non-stop. So we played a match earlier during the break. It didn't go so well. Actually, it was going well, but we had a guy on our team who was
an idiot.
yeah. To put it, yeah, he was an idiot. So he lost us the match, unfortunately. But,
That's a very generous insult, James.
we
I
will
think.
get revenge. Yeah, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
We will get revenge. Do you guys get to play much CS these days, or?
I mean, so I'm like at university, so not so much. And generally when I do, it's just sort of jump on with friends who aren't as experienced as I am. So it's kind of good fun
Sounds
when I
like
do.
hell to me, to be honest.
I mean, kind of, but then sort of consistently 30 bombing's kind of a good feeling. But then they're sort of all like GN2 and stuff. So it's
Yeah, that's not for me, man.
yeah.
What are you studying at university?
Politics.
Politics.
Yeah.
He loves politics.
Okay.
Do I?
You do. You love talking about politics.
I really don't.
What are you talking about? You always want to talk about politics. I'm just really bored and don't listen when he talks about it.
Fair enough.
It's just a strategy to just make sure that you don't talk to me.
Nice.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Apparently, he
It's
doesn't
all
like
coming out
politics
now.
anymore.
Yeah.
So what is your status quo?
I mean, I
You
play
on the streets?
That's not quite the lifestyle I want to live. Not
Okay.
yet.
You're not hood.
No,
Okay.
not quite. I going to university as well. I'm on a bit of a break at the minute. But I try to play as much Counter-Strike as I can, but at the same time, I also want to cast as much Counter-Strike as I can. So whenever I have like the free time, I'll kind of throw on instead of show up in game. So
Do you ever cast yourself playing?
No.
And combine the two.
no.
No.
Do you know how many requests I get?
Yeah.
James, can
Cast
you
around.
cast my clutch or whatever? So I'm like, firstly, you're not going to clutch. Secondly, even if you are, still no. Fierce on the eco. London looking to make double figures in the first map of this best of 3 series. 3 French guns are out again just before the technical pause. They went straight for the rifles. And so far, so good. Again, key to stay away from the close range because this is what might happen. Stanley pushing in a 5 versus 2. And again, I don't know how necessary that is when you have the range to abuse with your weapons. Like if he gets a kill with that FAMAS, then maybe the bomb gets planted. I don't know. So anyway, 4 of the 5 players will survive for London. And the score is 10-7.
Difficult to see which way this one's going to go, as we need to see how this T side will develop for Fierce now that they have stuff, and also Speaking of which, London don't have what we could imagine would be their end game items here, you know, getting those AWPs rolling in. I don't know if they prefer to go to 2 on this map or not. I guess we'll find out shortly, but there's a quick long take coming in. Swaggy leading the charge behind the flashbangs, and it is just an all-out duel here, and it's going to be traded very violently. 2 players left on either side, and we'll get Intercami catching Eccles, moving through the upper dog position, which just leaves Stanley's. And he does have time to figure this one out. There's a lot of time. So much time. But can he find a 1v1?
That is when the lurk becomes so powerful. You think everybody's charging towards A, start your rotation, pushing through somewhere, get immediately wrecked, but does he? Oh, he turns around into Cami, and the trade frag will be there for Fazan. Look all those, oh, you can't see them now, all the X's towards that long position. Absolutely ridiculous fight, but it goes the way of Fierce, and yes, they survive with 1 player, but it's less of a factor when you're on the T side, more expensive to buy on the CT side. And you can do more with less as a T. CT side will have more risk, and on Dust 2, again, that's even more limited because of how wide open the map is. So it will be just the odd pistol purchased for London in this round. Now you can actually bounce Molotovs off that open window as well as flashbangs, which would have been a little useful for this situation, but it seems they will survive for the most part. The UMP will be disposed of and AK collected, and Fierce are now just 1 round behind.
It's funny actually, that round where everyone died on long, it's almost always you're going to see a smoke either from the CTs or the Ts on the corner, which kind of gives both teams an option to disengage if they want, but because there's no smokes there, everyone's just committed to just fighting to the death, which is quite amusing. And we'll see another long take coming in here from Fierce. Let's see if we get a smoke from anybody. No smokes. Will the CTs go for the challenges here behind the flashbangs? Looks like it's not all that safe again. Without that smoke to work with, it's quite difficult to get good options sometimes. And you can see the Ts will put the smokes down, and they've taken long so early that really it's a huge question mark here for London. And they'll do the normal thing, and that is to take Catwalk. And they'll leave Astro there on the car.
Xbox smoke to stop anybody peeking mid, but no one's picking mid just yet. Again, the focus is on short for London. And it's fairly common to find 2 players on short once you've taken long. That smoke down will delay things. That's a pain in the bum. There are 2 Molotovs here for Fierce. I'm sure they'll want to keep at least 1 for the site itself. But it seems they'll focus on a long push with Intercami as a lurker, trying to stop the players from B. But there's only 1 player in B at present, 1 in CT spawn and 3 towards A. Just walking around the corner with the bomb, no less. And it's a shooting gallery for Astro. He's created some space for himself with the smoke grenade. Stanley's gone charging up long. He'll die immediately. And that's a 4 versus 2, 4 versus 1. Intercami the lurker wondering what on earth has happened towards long.
Yeah, at this point it's very difficult to do much. He got shot in the back, and that's unfortunate. Getting some economic damage there would have been nice, even if he was unable to win the round.
I wonder if they were deterred by having low utility. But if you saw in the previous half, when London came out of that corner of long, they had a flashbang towards the site. The first player ran out wide, so the second player could trade worst case scenario. And in comparison, Fierce just walk around the corner and surprise, surprise, get shot by an AWP. I don't know what else you're expecting in that situation.
So as far as the UK CS scene goes, are we seeing a lot of roster turbulence generally? Is it unstable?
Yeah,
is that
I
like
think
a big
that's
issue?
kind of what we call classic UKCS. You know, you play a few games, it goes well for a while, and then you lose like 1 or 2 and the roster just sort of disbands, or someone gets kicked and it just kind of falls apart from there. I think, again, you know, it's kind of like maybe how the NA scene used to be, like lack of organizations and money and things, so it's very difficult to make it work unless you are consistently winning and getting prize pools. But yeah, there is quite a bit of shaky rosters in places.
Is there still sort of an issue with sort of culture? Because it felt like that was a big problem for a long time. Kind of how it was, as you mentioned, North America used to have the same problem. But I think just the trickle-down effect of having all these mature and very good examples to follow in the top teams now in North America. And now we're seeing that represented more in the in the lower levels, and the culture is much better. Do you think the UK is improving?
I think before it's very different because I think a lot of the source players and kind of like the old 1.6 pros from NA kind of stuck around and like stayed with the game, whereas I think in the UK, a lot of them kind of have moved on to pursue actual like a real quote unquote real jobs outside of esports now. So it is a bit of a shame that we don't have that same kind of trickle down effect. I think now because CSGO has now matured quite a lot, it will get a lot better. But
awesome. Well, didn't go too badly in this round for Fierce. 2 kills on the bomb plants, so that's nothing to shake a stick at.
still not enough money for Swaggy to get the AWP on their T side, which is, I don't know if that's a choice or just circumstance really, but.
Well, they've won 2 rounds so far in this half, Fierce. The bomb plant is so crucial for the utility in this round for Fierce. But again, I mean, if they can win this round, I would say that there's a fair chance that they can pick up an AWP. So there's always the opportunist collection of one. But how will they be successful? Smoke down on Xbox, a quick take of the short position. Now, this is a problem for London because they are in no range at all to head towards long. They do have grenades, so that may keep Fierce entertained on short while they try to venture over there. They've had no grenades towards long, but it is, of course, a risk to head over there and see what's going on. So, with the smoke down on short, it seems they will aggress in that direction. Hype will be left in that short position while Fierce look towards long.
Hype will be able to take down one. A second around the corner. Nice flashbang coming in, but they can't actually get the frag from it. I mean, to fall back into CT spawn there. Link unable to do what he wanted, and the quick boost from Elevator for Astro with the AWP, but doesn't realize quite how close they are. Fazan with the quick kill. And a 5 versus 3 now, just getting more and more awkward and desperate here for London. It feels like they're just a step behind each time. And Stanleys will be able to take down one, but the round is lost and the save mode will be initiated. London will be conceding this one, and their economy can't really take the damage. So they really need these 2 guns to survive.
As far as the A site is concerned, they were basically outpositioned from the start. They didn't go to take long, but yet they didn't have control of short. They tried to fight for control of short. They had numbers advantage. They were basically 2.5 men versus 1, as they had a player in CT with the pop flashes. But one player had to cover this corner while the other one was checking the next to the stairs. So there were some 1v1s had, and just didn't manage to do the job. And then they didn't really have anywhere to hide. Again, they don't know the status of long, and Fierce went back there and took that, so it all fell to pieces after that. So we'll see what they choose to do with their money. There may be an argument to keep it together, but with 6k in one player, maybe they don't. Ooh.
That is nice.
Even in slow motion, looks pretty nasty.
What a play. What a play. That could be the play that really gets Fierce back into this one, because you can see what London's working with at the moment. UMP, not the best utility, trying to go aggressive on Catwalk there. They will have to fall back. The pressure is coming onto Catwalk quite quickly from Fierce. And the question though is, at this point, how do they want to develop this cat control? Do they want to push further, just get rid of these CTs off the close positions, and then maybe go back into a B split? Or back into an A split, where is the core going to go? So first step is to take over Catwalk. They've managed to be successful there. Got to be careful though, you don't want to feed into the AWP. And there's a smoke from the CT, so now Fierce looking to slow it down, reset the situation.
This is getting dangerous for London. And again, they don't have any idea what's going on towards long. Focusing on this short position, but now Link is on the way. They've got to do something. They can't just wait for Fierce to impose their will. He has no flashbangs from his teammates, so he has to take lots of risk and just shoulder peek, find out what's what. Now, with possession of long, there could be a lurker towards the car area, but seems that he's just going to go for the flank. In the meantime, what does Astro do? I mean, he's on the bomb site on his own at this point. He could try to fall back towards long for the retake, otherwise he's likely to die on his own, but he does have position on these players. Now we've got Fazan moving up the ramp area, and Astro will take him out as well. 2 players left to push his position. Intercami taken out elsewhere. There's a flank towards short from the CTs, and then now Astro's buying time for his team, just disappearing into nowhere. Spot a player towards Goose. Knows it's a bad plant. They've got to be on the site. Who's coming in from a teammate? Maybe TotaG doing what he can. That's not much. Now Swaggy's in a 1 versus 3. Damage is very, very crucial. That he had to land that shot. Didn't happen, and London survived with too many players.
Amazing work from Astro. Not only is he alone on the bomb side, as you said, he managed to just keep himself alive, and that he's at the point in which they could maybe aggress onto him after getting the bomb down, didn't really feel comfortable doing it because of the rotation coming in, because he'd already bought so much time. So really, really well played by Astro here. Just very calm under pressure with AWP, very confident to hit this shot, knowing that there'll be a player dropping off Cat to try to challenge him. So that hold from Astro is a pretty big deal, because again, Fierce now have one more chance with a full buy to try to take control of this match, and now London have another AWP.
I find it kind of interesting that there was so much aggression in the early stages of this half towards long, like they were constantly battling it out, and then now both these teams are just giving it up almost at the start of the round, leaving until like a minute to even get any information in that position.
5 AKs for Fierce. They have enough in the name of grenade. Spawns favourable towards the long area. London actually going for a challenge. Stanley having a very, very quick look. Not really getting his crosshair in the right place with a flick. And that is Fierce with long. Now London have a much better hold of things on that short position. They've got 2 players super deep. Got to be careful as Intercami is lurking and looking for something. Not as passive as he was previously in the lower tunnel position, but trying to take a player out. Solcast, though, has the better angle at the right time. Fazan will take Link down. Does he take the short position for granted with that frag on Link?
Big rotation coming in towards the B-bomb side, it looks like. Although actually, no, the bomb's stopping towards T-spawn, so another smoke onto Xbox, which will threaten towards Catwalk, which will make Astro look for the information. He's going to confirm fairly quickly that maybe not too much is going on here. That said, Swaggy will feed himself into Astro's AWP as the rest of Fierce move towards B. Now spotted. Eccles actually popping up for a quick kill. And with the counter utility as well, they are going to slow down Fierce. In fact, reroute them completely as they go back through lower dark. And looks like that's been heard as well from Stanley's, and he's going to be turning around with the AWP in action. Looking very good at the moment, just for Zan left, as he will be peeking into a multiple engagement. Multiple engagement? I don't know. Words are hard.
Guess it works. Double peek.
Crossfire.
Double peek.
Guns.
It was a good positioning from London at the end there to all but guarantee a trade frag, and now it seems they firmly have the reins of this horse. Fierce with pistols, essentially conceding to play against map points, unless they can do something very unexpected in a round such as this. And it's Astro's turn to ironically get revenge on Swaggy with that kill. Swaggy, a giant problem in the first half. Hype maybe trying to just take some distraction. Let London focus on him. But there's not much being done just yet from Fierce. They've got 1 kill onto Eccles, but bomb plant would be nice with how low the money is. The loss bonus is not spectacular, so they could really do with that, especially because they have to buy next round. TotaG hears the C2's falling away, so he'll go and have a look, but Astro, it seems, was baiting him. And Takami will be the last man standing. There are 2 CTs here to deal with. He'll take 1 out. So maybe it's 1 AWP. No, saved by Link. Game point for London versus Fierce.
Not too much success here so far from Fierce. Now last chance Loon. London with those double ops looking pretty happy, and we'll have not a lot of utility here for Fierce to open the round up with. Hype will go quickly into long, dodging one of the AWP shots. And again, London don't seem to care too much about giving away long, as mentioned earlier. I think you mentioned it, Yumi. This long position is It's not been too heavily emphasized of late, and that does put a lot of emphasis towards catwalk typically for the CTs, although this time they're not really doing all that much there. You can see that Eccles is trying to watch over it. Is that a missed smoke?
Almost definitely.
Yeah.
There was a previous smoke which just landed on the Xbox, almost went diagonally backwards off of the corner. Hello? Like Castane's being careful.
Nope.
It is not an... If he goes to peek deep left, he'll be showing his body before he has a chance to shoot into Cami, so smartly reduces the risk and falls back. Now, they have no idea. If they saw him, they don't know if he's still in the middle of this tunnel or not. He did not scope, just quietly walks back, and there is a lurk smoke, which it seems he will go ahead of. There's the first frag for him. Oh, I feel like he should have landed that flick onto into Cami. I don't know if Eccles can be spotted at all, but he should have an advantage going into this engagement. But Swaggy says no. Fighting against map point here of Fierce, but it's a 2 versus 3 in favor of London. Made even better now by the likes of Astro. Bomb on the floor near the Xbox. The cross spotted into Cami. That position is strong, looking over double stack towards the window position. Does he commit to the bomb plant? 14 seconds remaining as well. And down it goes. Molotov being deployed. There are no flashes here for London. They've got to have some good timing. 2 rifles in the AWP. Not the easiest situation to trade, and especially when Intercami's got a hiding place. Looks towards the door first. There's one down, but he can't get a second. And that will be Dust 2 taken by London, 16-10.
Yeah, great performance from Astro, I have to say, in this second half with the AWP. Had a lot of critical kills, and that kill at the end there to make it a 3 versus 1 that really stops them from having any chance to come back into this one. So, yeah, impressed by him. To see the lone Swede, Cami starting things off well there on the highlight package, and Swaggy having some impact, but on the T side, never really getting the AWP or maybe getting quite the impact that was needed.
Yeah, that was an interesting game. Fierce looked dangerous. They did look dangerous in this game. So it was more competitive than one might have thought. A lot of nasty deagle frags. Swaggy was fun to watch in the first half, but London seemed to stabilize late on in the second and pulled away from Fierce. Again, I think we saw some stark differences in approaches towards peaks from long, for example, which I think that Fierce can easily improve. And I think easy improvements can go a hell of a long way, but some of the small adjustments can be the hardest ones to make. But that is Dust 2 in the bag. Here are the scores on the doors. 2,700 damage for the top player. His name is not showing. Who am I missing here?
Eccles.
Yeah.
Eccles, okay. So Eccles is the top dog there with 25 kills. Not too shabby at all. I do believe that Inferno is